You can scoot that way.
I want to scoot this. Oh, well.
There you go.
Now see the stretch.
Oh, hold on. I'll fix it.
Hold on.
This is going to be really weird, but I'm going to go underneath the table.
Okay. Look, this is not Horrible Bosses 2 with the shower daddy or the shower buddy. One of the funniest scenes Okay, I'm going to run your chair into the wall. Move, chair. Oh, there we go. Now we're going. There we go. Oh my gosh. Now I'm going to hurt some televisions.
Now we go. There he goes.
Okay. And so.
Let me what do we got going on? That's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Let me mute this.
I was going into this, the Horrible Bosses 2 beginning is so funny when they're trying to sell that shower product and the shadow of what Charlie Day is doing. It just looks like he's doing some naughtiness to Jason Sudeikis. And I just cannot. And Keegan and what's the Jordan Peele's buddy? Keegan, what is his Michael
Keaton Allen or Ron. I can't think of his name.
Gosh, this is terrible. We're off to a terrible start.
We're supposed to be calling
Michael Keaton. No, it's not that. This guy is one of the funniest dudes, and it's his reaction that kind of makes it so funny. This is awful. And let me guess, we're live.
We are live. We are live on YouTube right now.
As we are looking up an actor's name, because the guy is so good. Keegan. No, it's Michael.
Look that up. I'm going to share this link.
Oh, Keegan Michael Key.
That's it.
Jordan Peele's former collaborator. I'm waiting for him to be in one of his movies.
It's really weird that he hasn't.
And maybe he's creating this opus for Keegan, and it's just or Keegan Michael, and it's going to be his big breakout role. He was in a Netflix show that only got a certain amount of time as well. This is like random talk. But it was good stuff, and they didn't really give it a second season. But he always pops up, and he's always funny. And he was in Horrible Bosses 2 for about a scene, and the name of their website was awful. It sounded racist, and it was just so hilarious. But what's not hilarious is hanging out with Lost Leaders podcast.
What's up, buddy? He's also in a lot of things like Role Models. He has a great line when they go camping in Role Models.
Yeah,
he's in the background of a lot of characters.
Stuff. I mean, he was in
a lot of great movies.
I mean, he's in Hotel Transylvania, plays Murray. He's in The Predator. He was in a Predator film, kind of like one of the worst ones, The Predator.
Is that the one where they go
2018?
Is that the one with
Boyd Holbrook? It was
okay,
it was just poorly made.
Is that the one they go into high school?
And I'll tell you what, this is the terrible thing. As we go off Randomville, we're going from Kegel, Mike, and Key and to a movie that he was in, unfortunately, but it was directed by Shane Black, who I loved Iron Man 3, and I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, but he struck out here, buddy boy. But he's not.
What else did Shane Black do? Didn't he do Lethal Weapon movie?
He did. He wrote Lethal Weapon 2, and in his script, Riggs dies in that final scene. So that was what Shane Black kind of made his name for. He was also in the original Predator. That's why he wanted to do one of those movies. He was the guy that Hawkins, he was killed first, but he also it came out later that he co-wrote the script. He kind of gave it a good rewrite. So that's where he kind of got the bones of his career. And then, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I kind of think that was the unofficial start of the Downey Jr. comeback.
I want to say The Last Boy Scout. Why do I want to say The Last Boy Scout? He did The Last Boy Scout.
Yeah. He wrote that. And Tony Scott directed it. I'm pretty sure, even without having to look it up, because I already had to look up Keegan. I'm Keegan Michael. I'm sorry about that, man.
You're good.
I should have. No. I'm apologizing to
Tony
him.
Scott and Shane Black did write it.
Yeah, that's a great marriage right there. That's like True Romance. That's Quentin Tarantino and Tony Scott. That was another great marriage. It was the one time where Quentin Tarantino in his career was a rare time, other than Rodriguez or Tony Scott, he would write and direct his movies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a rare field to be going, hey man, I'm going to collaborate. What? Quentin? But I'll tell you what, man, just jumping off the movies into the sports, I think someday there's going to be a very, very good Albert Pujols movie. I can't picture anybody really playing him. I would love for Nacho from Better Call Saul to look like him more and have the posture and I would love for Michael Mando to have that big launch out role, but I cannot come to one actor's face and build that would fit Albert Pujols. It's going to take a long time, but we only have, John, 1 month, maybe 2, hopefully 2 with Albert Pujols. What the heck is he doing right now, man?
He's one man who's beating Father Time
into the ground.
He is beating Father Time. I think here's the bad thing. I think what's going to happen.
He's going to come up short.
I think he's going to get 700.
Yeah.
He's got 5 more. He had 695 yesterday or Sunday.
And the schedule, I mean, we have 5 games. We have 5 more. We're done with the Cubs. We're not done with the Pirates. And we're not done with the Cubs or the Reds. We have 5 games. We have one of those doubleheader kind of 5-game weekends. He's going to get it. Yeah.
In Cincinnati, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is it in Cincinnati?
Yeah, because I feel like the Reds were just here. Or no, were the Cardinals just in Cincinnati?
We were just
This is going to end next season. And let me just get this take out for the first time. I am completely for the more level playing field. I want to play the rest of the league. I want to test this team against that team and that team.
All right. So
I want to play the Twins. I want to play the Astros and on a regular basis and just bring a trash can and start nailing it every time, Tyler O'Neill launches one.
So you have 3 more against the Nationals. You have another 3-game series against the Pirates, a 2-game series against the Brewers.
And then there's that tough week, the Dodgers, right?
And then you have the Reds in town.
Oh, yeah, that's a 5-game set here. Yeah.
And then then we have a trip to the West Coast where you face the Padres and the Dodgers. Boy, that Padres series.
I have a great idea for that Red series. Joey Votto is out for the year. He's got a season-ending injury. I think he's going to come back. I'm not sure. Maybe his contract's up, but I think he'll come back with the Reds. But they should do this, man. Jim Edmonds out. So let Danny Mac and Joey Votto call those 5 games.
Oh, it'd be fantastic.
It'd be fantastic because Joey's kind of like got that velvety. Yeah, I played first base. I also know poetry.
Who isn't Jim Edmonds out right
it's now? Just and look, let me just tell this whole story. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to share this on Twitter later. I'm going to break the origin tale of my assessment of Jim Edmonds on Bally Sports, used to be Fox Sports Midwest. When he first came on for the first 2 years, he didn't talk this much. And I thought he was great. And I thought, he gave an assessment of Bader in center field or anybody. And then he would talk hitting. But then over the years, and I don't know what happened. Maybe it's his marriage kind of going.
Well, that's what happens when you fall in love during a threesome.
I know. And, maybe the guy is just somebody who's really, really like, maybe he really likes himself and maybe, he loves his career. He supposedly is the one that ushered, Pujols along and shepherded him along in his early, parts of his career. Like, okay, Jim, a lot of guys were there. Edmonds was a great player.
Maybe that's why I'm, oh my God, I'm not going to crack that joke. Albert's too good of a dude. Edmonds, I'll shit on. Albert, I will not.
Well, it's the thing, Edmonds, I think I wonder what he used to be. I
do have a good Jim Edmonds story.
Because the one thing he will do, and this is what I'll give him credit for here, and let me just say this currently, when he's on the broadcast and he talks about hitting and approach, and I just think it's fascinating. He could be a great, hitting coach. And I think he's going to be in the Cardinals dugout. That's not far out. I think he's going to be in a major league dugout, but I just think he goes on and on these stories that just don't have any basis in the game. And they kind of go around him, and it's just like, dude, Danny Mac's over there. He's the quarterback. You're like, give me a Tom Brady receiver.
Danny Mac has to
give me a Tom Brady receiver. What's the small guy?
Who you talk about?
Come on, the guy that caught everything.
Julian Edmond.
Yeah, he. That's like Julian going to Tom. Hey, I'm going to be quarterback today, and Tom would go, Bill, have him killed.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Yeah, now Tom Brady's on it. His marriage is on the rocks because he's choosing football.
Man, Tom Brady, let me tell you something.
Go home.
Tom Brady does not look well. In that one video where he came back and he was talking about coming into training camp late, dude, the guy's old. He doesn't don't even let him out in that field.
He does not need to play this.
Let him, this is what he should do. They go through their two-a-days. They sweat out like gallons in calories and whatever. And then Tom comes out by himself. The receivers run their routes. He doesn't have to worry. He wears like a purple shirt. Really don't hit me, or maybe like a blue shirt, a bright. No. Don't do that. But yeah, man, you don't need to do that. But even in that press conference, man, he didn't look well.
Tom, you done enough, buddy.
Yeah.
Go home. Go home to Giselle. Don't ruin your marriage over a shitty season of football. Because
he's just addicted to winning, I think, man. He's
not going to win this year.
He's like, I know, but you never know, man. Don't ever count Tom Brady out. He's an unstoppable 130-pound soaking wet force.
The New York Giants. Hold on, sorry to interrupt you. The New York Giants proved on how you beat Tom Brady. You put him on his ass.
But he's still there.
I don't think the Tampa Bay has the best offensive line this year. It's going to be very hard.
But you never know. Again, Tom Brady can lose. Yes.
Football season does begin this week.
Steve Spagnuolo and Eli Manning and the Giants showed the world that yes, the Predator, Tom Brady, he bleeds.
Yeah.
And they beat him twice. And excuse me, word from our sponsors. Yep. See, that was a soft belch. But my wife threw me the greatest birthday party. And guess what happened at my birthday party once upon a time, 2007? The Brady and Patriots lost. And that was like watching Vader and the Death Star just. It never happens, by the way. In the movies.
I know. Can you imagine?
It comes back. Can you imagine being the head coach of the Rebellion? You would have been fired so many years ago.
I mean, I'd be more pissed off that a dude with 3 fingers put me on my ass the entire game.
I know. I mean, it's just like, look, we've seen Tom Brady. Darn.
Sorry. Sorry, Jason Pierre-Paul. I'm sorry. Don't hold fireworks.
Hey, man, I'll tell you what. I will never. It never gets old to see Tom Brady get sacked, though, man, because, you see a guy who usually can evade, and again, he's not like, even Patrick Mahomes is a built guy. Tom Brady looks like a palm tree out there, but he's slipping around. He throws accurate. Okay, look, there was a little special on ESPN back when he was playing with the Patriots. He just threw darts, man. And then that's not even a special football. He's just, he took down the Seahawks only because Russell Wilson, that stupid offensive coordinator, you threw the ball.
Why did you throw the ball?
That's a whole nother podcast. Let's settle down. The plane's going above the clouds.
Tom Brady needs to football. I have a feeling Tampa, you can catch that.
It's not dead.
It's not dead.
It's not Leo and Titanic, Kate.
It's not Leo's.
Hogging the
it's not Leo's 25-year-old or 25-year-old girlfriend.
That thing, we're looking at this desk right now. That thing in the ocean, that thing was at least a third of this size. John and I could float on top of that damn thing. John and I both would have lived. Titanic wouldn't have been so fucking sad.
Good Will Hunting's better. Should have won Best Picture. Oh,
Good Will Hunting is an excellent film. And I actually like Titanic because I hated Billy Zane in that movie. He played that character so well.
Oh my God. How can you hate Billy Zane when he yells?
Everybody, we're just going to say it. We're all thinking Kate Winslet is gorgeous. She can act. And Leo can act. And James Cameron is a fucking great filmmaker. Whenever he makes a movie, Avatar's overrated. It's a whole nother podcast. No, we're getting past that.
We're going to go back to Tampa Bay real quick. And I'm going to say this about the Billy Zane part in Titanic.
This is the ramble.
If I am feeling depressed, I will go on YouTube and look up the 45-second clip of watching Billy Zane rip the child out of the person's arms, walk 5 feet, and it was like, I have to get on the lifeboat. And they're like, we can't. And he goes, I have a child. And when he yells that, I laugh for some reason because the parent is literally still in the screen. Like, if you look at it, the parent's still like,
it's kind of a horrifying scene.
He just stole my kid.
And I'll tell you what, when things go south, like literally in that movie, it gets sad, doesn't it?
It does. But I laugh my ass off at that one part where he yells, I have a child, because it just.
If we're on disaster films, not ones that happen, but let me tell you an underrated disaster film in the water, Poseidon, with Kurt Russell.
Oh,
and Kevin Dillon.
The remake.
And, the remake. So we'll say that. Okay, spoiler alert, the movie was made 15 years ago at least. Kurt Russell dies in the end. I mean, a lot of people get out and they survive, but a lot of people died in that tale. And watching Kurt Russell drown, watching even a character who he wasn't really drowning, but the way he acted it out, where his body just kind of went like that, that's always that's a top 5 death scene for me.
Ugh.
Because you didn't expect it. Because in most movies, Kurt Russell's character, really like the lead hero in that movie, would have lived.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I like movies like that. And they don't get a good name because nobody wants to watch the hero die. Hey,
unless it's executive order.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I mean, if it's
Speaking of a Kurt Russell movie.
Yeah, executive decision.
Executive decision. I'm sorry. Everyone
that was a shock, man, because
Steven Seagal.
My dad, the two of us, we watched all those Seagal films in the theater. Marked for Death, Out for Justice, one of my favorites. Under Siege, Under Siege 2. And when he was in that movie, and when he flies out of the plane.
Because what makes it even better is because right when that happened,
it was just disbelief. You didn't.
Because those were when the tabloid stories started coming out about Steven Seagal being this asshole and this egocentric prick, and he's not a good dude. Like
him and Shia LaBeouf should do a road movie because they're both talented. Steven could be the old fat, and then Shia could just be the rage monster.
Do you ever see those? If you ever get bored, another thing I'll laugh at is the stupid ass karate instruction Steven Seagal videos of him. Like, he was like
Louisiana.
He's
cop.
like, no, not the Louisiana cop. Where he's like, he's this big fat. He's like teaching people, and he's like,
dude. Let me just tell you something. At some point, he just said, as an actor, because in Mark for Death, Hard to Kill, he was in good shape.
Yeah, but he's like, what do you want to do? You don't want to take it by your hand. Yeah, everybody's right here. But everybody get you down to the ground.
But like this. But I will
that's
say,
how he fucking does it, and it's
I know.
Funniest fucking. He's so out there and so crazy. It makes me get.
But at least I admit that the early part of Seagal's career, he was dynamite. Under Siege.
I love that movie.
Remember where he just
Under Siege.
He said he just bends the guy's wrist. And he slips him around. That guy was badass.
I love Under Siege because one, it's a great movie, and two, Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Busey,
and also
are fantastic.
You have to give out for Justice. Come get some. He's in that little meat parlor, and he's got those sausages. And he's just but that was great, Steven Seagal. But so when he died in that movie, I looked at my dad like, is that, am I hallucinating? Were there something in those Skittles?
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, we were in a movie theater. We were at Esquire, Kenrick.
Oh, nice.
Give it a name. That's what we did, man. My dad. I got baseball from my mom and movies from my dad, but we watched every movie.
You would think that would be reversed, but that's
it would.
That's awesome.
My mom's favorite player was the guy who died 2 years ago, Lou Brock, and then she loved Willie McGee. Lou. And so I think she gave it to me because her dad was a writer. So I think I got that from them. But my dad's dad was a guy who paced on his porch on Bancroft and Macklin when the Cardinals lost. So maybe a mix, but it's just. My dad and I went to we watched every new Seagal film, every new Van Damme, Stallone, the late 80s and the 90s.
I love those movies.
It was the best. You know why?
Where's Kelly Loeffler when I need him?
They were like, I called them double cheeseburgers. You knew what you were getting, but fuck, you needed it.
Who didn't love Lionheart? The Van Damme movie.
Oh, it's great. Remember he was the convict.
What's the one where he goes to prison?
He had the prettiest cuts.
What was it? He has to fight the Sandman. He goes into prison. What is the fuck?
I remember Brian. I remember that. Guess what? The bad guy from Cobra was one of the guy in the suit. That's the crazy thing about his career, is that they cross over. So the guy that fought Seagal. Or he fought Stallone in Cobra. He was the biker gang guy. He plays the guy that is Van Damme's handler. He's the one with the blonde.
Okay.
That's the bad guy from Cobra.
Yeah.
I think his name's Brian Thompson. He's like a legend. To me, he's a legend because those are what I call them, the faces of cinema, the ones you just don't know. Like nobody would really know Joe Pantoliano, the guy who played Ralphie in Sopranos, and he played the guy the fucking backstabber in the Matrix, but he's a great actor. But you just go that guy,
Death Warrant,
that guy,
Death Warrant.
That's he's in the jail. It's kind of like Stallone's Lockup.
Yeah, he goes in there. Yeah, he's the cop that goes in.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you who grows a strong beard is Sylvester Stallone in the late 80s, man.
I mean, in Rocky IV.
Yeah, he had but even in Lockup, he grew that little It's like, dude, there's not even a speck. Now it's all gray in the Samaritan, which I think is great. But back in the day, it was all black. It was a quaff.
Oh yeah, I'm not going back to Tom Brady now. We're way off by that, by the way.
No, I mean,
but no.
Look, but I'll
No,
say this: he doesn't look healthy,
Who?
but
Who?
he can go out. Tom Brady, he can go out there and win 10 games.
No, we're okay. Yeah, I don't think he's going. I think it's going to.
Well,
this will
we can cap off that topic.
Here's what I'm saying about Tom Brady, and I'll cap it off, and we'll go back to Van Dam. This is going to be his. It's good to see it, buddy. This is probably going to be his worst season ever. If he goes, I wouldn't be surprised if they go 8-8.
Yeah, but I bet you he'll still find a way to have put together a good. Maybe not Brady. I don't know, man. I just think the way the football gods.
I don't think he's not Aaron Rodgers.
No, he's not. Aaron Rodgers is kind of a guy, but he can move around. See, Brady can't move around. Aaron Rodgers doesn't like get a bunch of rushing yards, but he can move. Yeah. And I think his arm and his body, he's just kind of a tank. Brady is just kind of looks like he's like a little tree, but he's just elusive. No. And so you're right. I think there's a reality where maybe. That happens where he comes out and he's mediocre. But I just think the way the football gods work, the sports gods.
Father Time.
But look at Albert. He's 42.
Father Time.
Brady's 45.
Yeah, but Albert Pujols is an everyday player.
Yeah, no, people aren't chasing Albert around the bases. Can you imagine in baseball, football rules, and the second baseman just takes out the runner?
You mean Albert Bell to Fernando Vina?
Oh, man, he just – I don't know how he – I don't know how he got back up. I don't understand how he got back up. After 3 hours later, I would peel myself off the bed. Because Albert Bell was a train. And that guy and Fernando Vina put himself in the middle of the train tracks.
Dude, no, he went to make a routine double play. Albert Bell was just like, go fuck yourself.
No, I'm just saying that's the way he played. Oh, I know. It's because he had such power. That's why they allowed it.
Did you see the drunk Albert Bell video when he was peeing in the parking lot?
Yeah. And it's like, that's Albert.
Albert Bell, man.
He's a messed up dude. But you know what? He hits home runs, he hits doubles, and the Indians allowed it, and the Major League Baseball allowed it because they were high on home
This is what I'm going to say about the video if you don't know what I'm talking about. Albert Bell pees Albert Bell pees like a 5-year-old boy, and he has a ball bat. That's about it. He carries a ball bat, ladies and gentlemen.
But you know what? You know what? We're going to segue into other baseball players called Albert Pujols.
So yeah,
who is at 695, folks. He has 16 home runs. I predicted early on that I didn't think 15 to 20, if he got the right amount of at bats, and he has, would be out of the question. And here he is, as what is it, September 6th? Pujols is cranking ahead at 6. I think he's got a chance at 20. As a part-time 42-year-old. Look, I wrote today that, man, whatever his age is, it's remarkable what he's doing. At this point, it's irrelevant. I mean, these days they test harder than any time in Pujols' career, and he's clean as a bell. And he's also doing it. Okay, let's just play your game. He's 45. He's Brady. Let's just say that. And look, people like even myself, I thought about it. I'm going to admit it. I thought about, man, they wouldn't have to DFA him in like May when he was really struggling. Remember, he had that good burst.
Yeah. And
he was really struggling. He wasn't getting to play a lot. But then in like the All-Star break, the home run derby, I tell you what, when people didn't want him to take those swings, it's like, no, even Pujols said, it's batting practice. You just swing. It's like a workout. Ever since, man, John.
He has been on fire.
And the team, guess what the team's done since he's been on fire and Molina has been back? It's just, look, dude, it's science. It's like baseball science.
What's my phone?
Okay, I thought I had my alarm, even though my kid is at home today. But I have my alarm. I have my alarms because there's so much to remember every day. You have to pack it all in.
Dude, I get it.
But here we are on September 6th. The rushed season is almost coming to a close. And the Cardinals, at least yesterday, they lost yesterday. So did they hang on to are they 7.5? Let's look that up. Yes, we're not prepared. Okay. We're not paid people that have this stuff ingrained into their head, but they were 8.5 out. They were 8.5.
They're 7.5 up.
Okay. So they lost a game. The Brewers are little punks.
The Brewers.
The Brewers who they won last night. They're 6-4 and their last Cardinals are 7-3. The Cardinals are 79-56. Remember when they were 52-47?
Yeah.
And I thought legitimately, John, I thought they were going to be a 500-ish.
That's what I thought.
But then guess what Mozeliak went out and did? It was just getting a couple pitchers, and it was a couple rookies and young players, because now Gorman's kind of having a struggle, but Brendan Donovan's still playing well.
You knew that was going to come.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, it's kind of like the expected thing. He came up and he cracked 13 home runs. So
and he ain't done yet.
No, he's not done yet. What is he?
Fire.
20? Is he 21? He can't be
21.
21 maybe. And he's just, he's a young talent, but everybody else is picking him up. Goldschmidt is a Triple Crown front runner. He's an MVP guy. Arenado was right there with him, especially in Fangraphs.
He's 22.
Man, he doesn't. Man, 22 will be as old as I would have guessed. But still, he just came up. He came up later in the season. He bashed some power. He showed his strikeout tendency, but that can be worked on, just like other people have cut it down. Bader even cut his down from the upper 20s into his
Speaking
lower 20s.
Of Bader,
is he ever going to play?
Probably not.
That's a great. Let's just acknowledge that. What a gem! He reminds me of a very tall and big Donovan Osborne.
Yeah,
because he just throws those little bullets, and he's so accurate. Like, I wish he could just touch Dakota Hudson's arm and go, "Let me just hold your arm for a minute. What are you doing? I'm making your arm more accurate."
Do you think he just
he has to be more
when
accurate.
He got traded from the Yankees? Montgomery. Do you think he's just gonna I'm thinking about Montgomery.
It felt like he was jumping off the Titanic and coming up the shores,
and he was just
arch.
I'm gonna go shove it.
Maybe the Yankees,
ass.
Maybe something in them was poisoned out. It's not just the trade. Look, they lost a pitcher. The Cardinals lost Flaherty, and they've been fine. And now Flaherty's back, and that's great. He looked great yesterday. But it's not like there's something with the Yankees. I don't know.
So
Aaron
the Yankees,
Boone manager.
Well, the Yankees, they traded
the Judge
for.
Watch.
Well, you traded for the pitcher from Oakland. Shoot me because I'm not good with names.
Frankie Montas.
And
he's not really been right as good as advertised. Kind of like, hey, other trade is sucking John. Who's the long-haired southpaw who used to shut down the Cardinals at Miller Park in the 9th inning? Hey,
Bader Hader.
Can I say it? Josh. You haven't had the San Diego Shore treatment, have you? Sorry.
So back to the Yankees real quick. They traded Montgomery for Bader for some strange reason.
Very awkward.
I don't know why why the Yankees did that.
I think they really thought they targeted Frankie Montas, and in that mind, that made Montgomery expendable. Maybe they believe in a prospect. Maybe they still have a prospect. Maybe they really believe in Bader. Because if you take Bader and put him in that field, man, where it's shorter porches and left and right, he can smash that little power. He might hit 25 home runs in that ballpark. And he's also a run saver.
Plus, he likes playing in New York.
No, he's a Bronx kid.
Yeah, he's a Bronx kid. He loves playing there.
So there you go. That's like a dream come true for him. It's still an awkward trade.
An awkward trade, yes. It never made sense to me why the Yankees did that.
It felt like they bit down hard on Frankie Montas. And then maybe
for them to be collapsing in the historical fashion.
Guess who started that in a way? I mean, maybe they didn't start the crazy straight. It was the sweep.
It was a series before that. They went 1-2 they lost 2 games versus the Reds.
They lost a series. The Cardinals swept them.
And then, they lost 2 games to the Reds and then got swept by the Cardinals.
And let me tell you something. Everybody that wants to talk crap about Paul DeJong, what he did in winning that Friday night game, that was a punch to the jaw of the Yankees.
Oh, that was a kick. That was a kick in the dick.
So I don't care what he's doing. He's in there for his defense. He's going to strike out and look pathetic a lot. He's having offensive struggles, but I don't expect him to leave. If Sosa is gone,
if our offense is relying on Paul DeJong and Yadier Molina,
sure,
we have major.
Molina's hitting a better bat, though.
I know, but here, as Cardinals Nation, if we are relying on those 2 bats,
sure,
we have bigger problems.
Defense, though,
okay, but
because the thing about because if Paul DeJong's a better player, Nolan Gorman doesn't play as much.
You went up the middle.
Well, no, because I mean, Edman can play anywhere. Yeah. I think Edman is a better shortstop than Paul DeJong, but Paul DeJong's not a bad shortstop. And so if Nolan Gorman is struggling, you have to get you have DeJong and Gorman struggling. So you're kind of like, so Tommy, he can't play both spots.
Yeah.
And so if DeJong was hitting better, yes, they're not relying on his bat, but his defense is good. No. And I think it kind of helps at times when second base is kind of maybe not so much a problem, because I think DeJong's been a problem, and I'd be surprised, is what I'll say, if he's a Cardinal next year. because they can't ride that train again. He can't be a backup. He can't play in Memphis. He's out of options. He's got service time.
Who is going to take that $9 million?
It's something that team will eat in a small ballpark.
Okay.
They get his defense, and they get maybe a player as well. It can't just be Paul. Everybody knows that. The Cardinals, if they want to lose that player in contract, and right now the way it's working out, he plays in the worst division.
Hear me out.
If you can't have a good year against the NL Central, then you're
I
having a rough
want everyone at Cardinal Nation to look at me right now.
I'm tweeting it out.
To not yell at me for what I'm about to say. If you're going to waste $9 million, hear me out. Why not have Paul DeJong start your season as a Cardinal?
Okay.
Because Mason Wynn is coming.
Okay. Yeah. Mason Wynn, I think he plays Memphis next year. He's in Springfield now. He's in
Springfield.
But he'll start at Memphis
He'll start in Memphis next year.
I don't think that they aren't thinking about moving him up to Memphis this year. That'd be
stupid.
Let him finish,
I think him and Jordan Walker will both finish the season in Springfield. They ain't moving. Next year, I think Jordan Walker has a shot in making the big league team and skipping Memphis, but he has to have one hell of a spring training.
I think he gets a cameo next year, but unless something bad happened. Well, here's the thing. Let's think of the outfield next year. There's Tyler O'Neill. He's got arbitration, right?
Hold on. And hear me out. Let me finish. Keep DeJong. Wynn's going.
Okay, so
Wynn's coming. Wynn's coming. Why not win 6 months in Memphis, start in Memphis next year? If he has a good season, what he's doing in Springfield, move him up here. If he's doing what he does in Springfield, in Memphis, next year.
Sure.
All-Star break. If DeJong's still doing what DeJong does, why not bring
good defense, hitting 199? You have to bring up Wynn.
Why do I not bring up Wynn?
Because guess what, John? The league's getting younger. Whether you like it or not, I mean, I don't have stats to back that up.
You want to put butts in the seats, right? And you want to start these, and you want to start
youthful energy. That's what makes the Fernando Tatis Jr. thing so sad. It's because he is a young, forceful personality and face of the game who struck out big time in the face of his fans. And so it's a young player's game. So if you have Jordan Walker in the outfield or at DH, because Pujols will not be here next year, Juan Yepes shouldn't have that position all the way. He has to come back sometime this year. Imagine his bat right now if it started working again. But if you have Jordan Walker at DH kind of outfield, Tyler O'Neill will be out there for another year unless they trade him because he still has a year.
I think Tyler O'Neill is your Harrison Bader of next year.
I think he is. He'll be traded midseason probably for pitching.
I think next year you might see an outfielder of Walker, Wright, Carlson,
Alec Burleson.
When's that guy gonna get a shot?
Because there's no room.
And Newt Barr, Burleson, and left.
And the thing about
right field. Sorry.
And the crazy thing about it is if Jordan Walker did hop Memphis, Alec Burleson, I don't care who Jordan Walker is, I would be so insulted. I'd be like, wait a minute, give me a shot.
Well,
he's 19, right? Jordan Walker?
19, 20.
Yeah. I mean, he's 20. Just let him play in Memphis. Do not let him skip. I don't care. I mean, Springfield is a hitter's league. Memphis is a pitcher's league. At least I'm being told wrong. Kyle Reese, if I'm wrong, at Kyle Reese, come get me.
But you might see it. Walker in left,
you might
Carlson
see it.
Center, and you got Newt Barr and Burleson right.
Kind of be maybe a fourth and a DH.
Yeah, because I don't think you can have another season of Tyler O'Neill.
You cannot.
Everyone's saying you can't have a season.
This is my problem with Tyler O'Neill: consistency.
You can't do. See, everyone's a bitch about DeJong, but
if you looked up stats, if you looked up Tyler O'Neill's career stats, and you looked at the slugging column, there are years where he is below 400, 0.400. That's where you kind of want to be over. Excuse me. You want Tyler O'Neill above that, way above that. In his best season last year, he was over 500. He was like 526. And so there's a couple seasons in this season. I don't know where he's at, but I bet you he'd be skirting around 400, maybe 405. But he's just not a consistent power hitter. He hits well in spurts, But I used to be a guy that was going to say, sign him long term. Now I'm a guy that says bring him back next year and let's see how he does. Because I don't think you're going to trade him in the offseason. He has to build his value back up unless he has a monstrous. He's had a good start to the month. But if he comes back next year and he hits like last year, then you have to give him the contract, or you have to trade him in the middle of the season when he's rocket high. You have to hear me out. Hear me out. I know I interrupt you a lot. I suck. Everybody knows that he's got an airstream with me.
You're good.
But it's just one of those things where I was in the camp of going, pay the man a little more money this spring training because he had a great year. But maybe, I could understand the camp, even if I think I even wrote it. I can't remember what I even wrote. If I was really for extending him to that 4-year deal.
You were, because we kind of got in an argument about it.
Yeah. And I think I was so convinced because I thought he came together like Bader. Because Bader, over the 2020 and 21 and 22 seasons, he came together as a player. He found a way to get on base. He found a way to contribute power, and he saved so many runs in the field. But Tyler O'Neill this year, even after when he's not been hurt, he's had these spells where he's just a single of this, and then he goes on a big home run tear.
Like he's
inconsistent.
He's getting hot now, which
but
is
I
good.
Wouldn't trade him yet.
I don't know. Also, he's a trade deadline in 2023.
But this is the problem. When I say that you can't trade him, I also think if you make him a solid offer, we saw Bader leave, and O'Neill is not above Bader.
No.
Not in WAR, not in consistent WAR. I know wins above replacement. Last year he had a 5.2, and that's great, Tyler. But Harrison Bader, Fangraphs experts check me, but he's been right around a 3 on average, maybe a little bit less. And and the sabermetric people, that's a good value.
You want Tyler O'Neill's WAR?
What is it?
His career WAR is 9.6.
Most of it was last year.
Probably. Most of it was last year.
Because he came up as this. I mean,
this year
we got him from the Mariners.
Right now he's a 1 WAR. He has 310 at bats. He's 71 hits, 13 home runs, and 229. Marco Scandello.
Yeah. Gonzalez.
Marco Gonzalez.
That's a hockey player. No, you're not far off, buddy. Dude, it's fine. We're not professionals.
I know.
We can, Lost Losers podcast in the buff. We are renegades. We are the rebellion. We will not win in the end, but we're going to have some fun before we fly into that thing.
We're going to say some shit to make you laugh. I guarantee you that. Or something way off the wall.
I'm not going to offend anybody, but
I will.
But I know. Well, I will if I have to. It just depends on what comes out of my mouth.
I'm doing it for fun. I promise you.
But I'm too much of I'm still transitioning into the say whatever I want. I was in AM radio where you cannot be yourself completely. You have to guard your language. You can't say fuck. You just can't do it. It's illegal, and you get looked at the board operator like you just gave, South Korea our nuclear launch codes. Like, dude, I just dropped an F-bomb. Drop it. You have 7 per fucking segment. So I will say this about Tyler O'Neill.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going on a radio rant, not against you, against board operators, old Matt, and they know who they are. They made my last show kind of a miserable experience, and we'll get into that later because we got into Jeff Jones already. But Tyler O'Neill, I don't want to send him off, but if in the offseason, let's say he has a pretty good September. Let's say the Cardinals make it into the NLCS and he plays he hits like 300 and he bashes some home runs. He plays a good defense, and he's also freakishly fast. He could beat Scott Rowland around the bases on a home run.
Oh, well, he beat Harrison Bader in a foot race.
I know.
And no one gives him credit for that.
And this is the thing, folks.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and spill these beans because I am starting a new job, so I can kind of dish some tales about my current job. It's not confidential. I deliver for Salt and Smoke, and one time I didn't get to deliver to the stadium, and they were home against the Dodgers. And you have to pull into the gate where the players pull in, and I felt like I was pulling into NASA because I'm just nervous. I'm like, is there any weed? Is there a bud? These are just security guards, but it feels like you're entering a dome of otherworldly figures. And so I go up to the guard, I show him the paperwork, and blah blah blah. I get in and I'm unloading the barbecue, and it's the ESPN crew. And so I'm delivering them food. They're setting it up outside. It's when it was pretty hot. This was like July, I want to say, not August, maybe July. And who's parked? Who just comes walking up to their cars? Tyler O'Neill and Harrison Bader. And they both drove. I'm not going to give license plate. I won't give make and models. But I'll just say they drove red and black sports cars. And I think I remember correctly that Tyler drove the red and Bader was the black car. And it was both the same make. And let's just say that Vin Diesel drove it in Fast and the Furious. And it's the updated version. But it was just the way that Tyler O'Neill walked. Like he has had the biggest dick in the stadium. He walks like the guy in Moneyball says. And this is going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. It's just real talk people who fucking find a way to nag at me later about it. But it's just like, it's like the scout said to the Brad Pitt's character. He's the kind of guy who walks in his room that his dick's already been there for 3 minutes. That's nice. Tyler O'Neill. He walked. I mean, Bader was limping. He had the plantar fasciitis. Yes. I was like, dude, you should be on a fucking golf cart because all you have to do is go, look at my filter. Bam. And he fucking falls over and fucks his leg up. But Tyler walks like no, he is shifting like a woman moves her butt, and my wife does it all the time to just fucking mess with my mind.
He's got a wiggle to him.
Wiggle. He has a chest wiggle. He's just like, he's like RoboCop if he was a fucking human. And so I like the guy. I like the way he plays, and I like his power, but he's an inconsistency. But swimming back to Mr. Pujols, he's a very consistent guy these days, even when he gets out.
For being 42 years old.
Even when he gets
42,
out.
43,
I mean, he'll smash a ground ball or he'll smack a fly ball. Last night, he swung at the first pitch. I don't care. Swing at the first pitch. It was down the middle, and he flew out. He ended the game.
Swing whatever pitch he wants.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, it's basically like this. If it makes it better on you and you don't want to draw it a long at bat where maybe you strike out, he saw a pitch to hit because the guy is locked in. And the Cardinals are going to go into, even except for those games against the Dodgers and maybe
Padres.
The Padres. We get to see that
Padres Dodgers series will be very telling for October for the Cardinals.
Like a British boy, Josh Hader.
Hader. Boy, what a collapse!
What a collapse, man! And I feel bad. I'll say this.
Who's having the bigger collapse, Josh Hader's season or the Yankees?
The Brewers.
The
Brewers were okay. The Yankees haven't collapsed.
Or historic.
How did the weekend series go against the Rays? Because I listened to Randy Carricker and Michelle Smallman on 101 on Friday morning as I did a little Uber driving.
Where did Michelle?
She's going to Bristol. She's going back to I think where it all began or where she's from. I don't know. I should.
She's from St. Louis.
But yeah. So, but I think she had a job there, right? But it felt like it was written as a return.
She went up to Bristol, Connecticut for a little bit for something, and then
she's going back. She's going back.
And then I think is she going to New York now? Or
no, she's going
ESPN,
she's going to be hosting a late night sports talk show.
Good for
on
her.
ESPN.
Good.
And I say this.
Her.
No offense to Randy Carricker. I think he's great on every show he's on, in the Fast Lane, whatever show when he talks with Bernie on his shows, whatever show Bernie on 590, whatever station he's on, Michelle Smallman was just great. I thought that, and she worked with Bernie. She was, Bernie's producer on the
Yankees took 2 of 3.
So the Yankees held the Rays off. So it's 6 games ahead. Because they came into the weekend. Okay, they 5. Okay, so they did. Maybe they were 5.
And the Yankees. Let's see. The Yankees have
Aaron Judge played a big deal of that, buddy.
They have all right.
Matt Carpenter, who is still with that broken foot. It sucks for Matt Carpenter. I don't know what his prognosis is if he's coming back this year or not, but it sucks him kind of being on a lineup. Harrison Bader hasn't cracked the lineup, or has he?
No.
I mean, I last read
he hasn't even gone on a rehab assignment yet.
I heard he was close to that, but dude, it's September 6th.
So the Yankees have the Twins, then their next series is against the Rays, then they have the Red Sox, then they have the Brewers, the Pirates, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, Orioles. Dude, they could end up collapsing.
Yeah, I mean,
Baltimore, wow.
This is the crazy thing.
Wow.
Aaron, this is what I'll call the 98 Cardinals treatment, New York Yankees fans, is if McGuire got the record, the team did not go to the playoffs.
What?
The Yankees don't get the division, but Judge overcomes Maris
Oh, 62.
He's trying to get 62.
Yeah.
So he gets that, but the Yankees lose a division to the Rays.
Can you?
Oh,
How of an?
Guess
epic,
what I saw? That big plane go.
So what makes it better? Like, it's always good to see a team collapse. Like when the Braves collapse to let the Cardinals take over. It's fun to see collapses. Does this one make it better because it's the fucking Yankees of New York? Because I think that's what makes it better. Because to watch the people of New York, especially Yankees fans, lose their ever-loving mind, to watch that team have a historic collapse would be fucking epic.
It would, yeah. Because that's the beauty of baseball, as long as it's not your team. Like if the Cardinals had that big lead, St. Louis would pull the fucking arch to the ground. Okay.
Oh my God.
But this season has been the opposite. The Cardinals were 52-47 around the All-Star breakish. No, my bad. The end of July. And then the end of August, they were well into the 70s mark. And they're 79-56 tonight, as after they sleepwalked to a loss last night against the Nationals.
I hate giving John Moseo credit for anything.
See, for me,
it drives me off the wall. I mean, this is why, just because the message is so stale from the messenger, because you know what you're going to get from him every time. And he's so monotone.
But I will say this: we have to step back and go that Nolan Arenado is a Cardinal, Goldschmidt's a Cardinal, Jordan Montgomery next year is a Cardinal. If they're smart and they're not sure about Flaherty long term, sign Quintana. He's a great number 5.
I'm going to let you know. I think you should sign Quintana and trade, and you need to trade Flaherty.
You can. I mean, especially, and I'll say this because I don't think Flater's going to Flater. I don't think Jack Flaherty wants to play here long term. I think, and I'm not against it. I mean, the guy has his choices, and if he's a free agent, if he reaches that time, does he want to go to the Cardinals, who have not extended him like they extended Lance Lynn and Paul DeYoung and Stephen Piscotty and Alan Craig? I mean, all these young players, they didn't offer him.
But the Cardinals need to go out and get an ace.
Yeah,
they need to pay the money for the ace.
Or just get it. Just,
I don't know. I don't have it like obviously.
Just assemble. For me, I would assemble a rotation of 2 and 3s if you can find an ace. But yes, when Wainwright does retire, I think he comes back next year.
Do you think he's just to get to 200?
I think he wants to come back one more time. I don't think. I mean, look, I wouldn't be surprised if he retired. So I'll say this 50-50, because I mean, if he says in November, hey, I talked to the kids, but this is what he did last time. He talked to the kids and the wife, and then they came back and they made that video. It was cute. And he said, I'm coming back in 2022. If there's another video where at the very end he goes, I'm going to stay retired. Because I can see Waino taking a year or 2 off and then coming back, old man Waino, and winning 10 games in 2025.
He ain't Roger Clemens, and he ain't Logan. All right, old man Logan from the comics.
I know.
I think.
Let me do my little cool line.
I think Waino, if he doesn't get to 200 this year, which I don't think he's going to. I think he comes back next year just to get to 200. I think just to kind of carry the Cardinals over until they get another.
Yeah. Of course, that last part was really half a joke.
So,
but I think it's something only Wainwright could do.
Yeah.
He'd take a year off, not 2. He'd take 1 year off, come back in 2024.
He could.
Because maybe he kind of lets his arm rest, but he keeps, he's going to be a carpenter. He's going to keep working out.
I personally think once Waino's done, I think he ends up in a booth.
And I really hope so.
And I think it's a McLaughlin in the booth.
Dan McLaughlin and Adam Wainwright.
I don't think he'll do it in St. Louis. I think he'll go to Atlanta to do it so he can stay home. He's an Atlanta boy. You know, and I can see that. Just like,
but if the Cardinals offered him a gig, I think he'd take it.
You think?
I think he would. At least to start it. I can see him going home towards the end of his broadcast career, or even maybe 3 years into it.
Do you think he might do like something like Jim Edmonds does now?
Because his family
or in Brad Thompson.
He has young kids. I don't think he wants to move them out of St. Louis until they're older. And so
they live in Atlanta.
Oh, they live in Atlanta.
So Adam Wainwright.
See, I was always confused if he had a house here.
So he has a house here during the summer. His family moves up here.
Roots here. He has roots in Atlanta.
His wife and him are from Atlanta.
Of course. Yeah.
Their kids go to school in Atlanta.
Oh, I didn't
when
know
school time ends,
There's
the
probably
family
a
comes
story
in.
from Derek Gould probably I missed.
Yeah, the family moves up here, is in here for the summertime, kind of bounces back and forth.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously summer vacation.
Okay,
Stuff
so
like that.
that makes a good point. I can see him, and because Edmonds and Thompson are going to stick around. That's a rotation they like.
I think they can. I can see him maybe doing a rotation like that.
Yeah, but I can also see him maybe a few years into his broadcast career. Maybe he comes back and does a season with the Cardinals. But
then I think he ends up in a booth somewhere.
I think he does, and who knows? He could be on Fox Sports. I mean, if he's really good at it, he could go from Atlanta to being a national guy. I mean, I can totally see it. And guess when they come here to St. Louis, we'll have not the dreary, bland, Snoozeville, turn on Rooney and Horton, not Fox 2 or whatever, or TBS. So just give us Wainwright and whoever schlub they have in the booth with them. Let Wainwright call the whole darn game.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, I want to wrap this up. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for listening. Dan, you got anything to pro? Real quick,
man. Just the newsletter, man. Ramble on with Buffa
podcast or YouTube channel
in the Buff, and also Dose of Buffa for all the movie stuff. So
there you go.
Check me out on Facebook. I am Dan the Film Buffa.
All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Appreciate you all. Goodbye.